Today we'll talk about how to recognize the extremes of the mind and stay in the middle to overcome anxiety. Buddha's entire method was about being in the middle, staying in the middle. What did he mean by stay in the middle? He was not just talking about the extremes of the physical world. He was not just talking about not starving yourself to become enlightened, or eat as much as you want, not deny all the sense pleasures to the body, or give it everything it wants. That was one extreme he wanted you to avoid, because he tried it himself. He had everything a man could have ever wanted. He lived in absolute luxury, son of a prince, married to a beautiful wife, all the luxuries. He experienced whatever the physical body could ask for. And then when he decided to search for the truth, he went into the other extreme. He almost came close to dying because he didn't know there is a way to approach awakening. He thought, I've lived my life like this and I haven't understood life any. I don't know what death is. I don't know what birth is. I'm seeing the sick, the dying, and the old, and there is fear. And I can see the ephemeral nature of life. I want to know what the truth is. Because I've tried this, let me try the other, which is asceticism. Leave everything. Just have one begging bowl. Eat whatever people give you. And deny all the comforts of the body. Sleep on the floor. Eat once a day. He tried that. It almost killed him. And that is when he rejected even that, and he said, no, let me be in the middle. But he wasn't just talking about being in the middle of the physical body. More importantly, he was referring to the extremes of the mind. Buddha had understood the mind very well. He had understood all the tricks of the mind. He had understood how it keeps you in bondage. So when he says, follow the middle path, it is not a fancy philosophy. It is not a simple philosophy about not choosing the extremes and just being in the middle. What he is talking about is something very significant. Because when you understand the nature of the mind, you will understand to have any sense of peace, to go beyond the constant stress and anxiety of the mind, there is no other way but to be in the middle. If you ask me, the middle path is not even a philosophy, it is pure science. Because if you approach the mind scientifically, you will understand the swinging of the mind, the way it draws its energy from swinging from one end to the other, from pain to pleasure, from one extreme of happiness to other extreme of depression, one extreme of excitement to other extreme of boredom. If you scientifically watch how the mind functions, you will understand that when you're in the middle, you are automatically in control of the mind. Because mind is nothing but the swinging. Mind has no place in the present moment. It comes to the present moment only to swing to the other direction. It uses the present inevitably. It doesn't want to be in the present. By accident, it glimpses the present. Because even a pendulum, at one point in time, it is still. Even a moving pendulum is still at some point in time when it reaches the middle. For that brief moment, for a second, it is still before it continues its movement. The mind is exactly the same. It is always swinging. And it comes to the present moment once in a while, giving us a glimpse of peace, giving us a glimpse of stillness. And as soon as it gives us that glimpse, it takes it away. And that is our frustration. If mind somehow could bypass the present, then there is no way for us to know the present moment. No way for us to be searching for it. We would know nothing about peace. We would know nothing about relaxation. Anxiousness, worry, and frustration would be our eternal reality. It is only because the mind has to pass through the center before it has to go to the other extreme. Because when it is angry, if it wants to be happy, or when it is frustrated, it wants to be relaxed, it cannot immediately shift from frustration to relaxation. It cannot immediately shift from pain to pleasure. It has to come to the neutral space. And that is where we are. That is where the self is. That is where your true dwelling is. So once in a while, you get the glimpse of the present. And even that, you get it through the mind. You don't have a direct conception of the self. As a shadow, it passes by. But even that shadow reminds you that this swinging is not your true nature. That is not who you are. Think about it. It takes intelligence to ask for the end of anxiety. That means you know something other than anxiety. There are moments when you have not experienced anxiety. That is what you're craving for. But because it is all happening in deep unconsciousness, you are unable to stop the movement. You're unable to see this pendulum swinging. Now, what is giving the energy to this pendulum? Why is the mind the way it is? And why does it swing differently in different people? Each individual goes to the extreme in their own unique way. Most of us are swinging, but there are a few who don't swing much. They go into happiness, but they don't go into it fully. Not that they're not experiencing happiness, they have learned the trick of the mind. They don't feed the energy so that it can go back again. There are a few individuals who have understood the nature of this swinging and they try to keep it under control. But for a majority, they have no control over it. Now, what is contributing to this momentum of the mind? First is the dreams and desires, the unnecessary burden of dreams and desires society has imposed on you as an individual, unreasonable expectations, idea of success, adds to the swinging. One idea. Imagine your pendulum is swinging in its own peaceful manner. Sometimes you're a little happy, sometimes you're a little sad, sometimes you're excited, sometimes you're bored. But you can easily handle that movement. And then one day, someone comes and tells you, you're wasting your time. You're too relaxed. You need to be chasing. You need to succeed. You need to prove to people who you are. What happens to the mind? It starts swinging faster and faster. Unconsciously, without even your knowledge, you become restless. You don't allow the gentle movement of the mind to happen. When it goes into one direction, you push it even further. Just like a swing, when it goes near those moments of boredom, sadness, you push it even harder because now you are more frustrated because you have not gotten over all these negative emotions and you have so much to accomplish, so much to do in life, so much to succeed. Then you push it farther. What happens? Naturally, when it reaches its peak, you explode and then you settle down and the pendulum swings on to the other side. And then when it goes near happiness, excitement, because you've experienced so much pain, even that little bit of happiness, you want to extend it. You want to push it as much as possible. You want to experience it as much as possible. So when you take a break to enjoy life, you enjoy it forcefully. You don't enjoy it naturally. You add more to it, more enjoyment. Oh, it's not enough. This is the only day I'm going to get in the week to enjoy myself. I need to do all these things. Right there, you have disturbed your happiness. Right there, you've disturbed peace. The moment you force happiness, it is gone. That is how the pendulum has been swinging from one extreme to the other. Success, goals, material accomplishments, name, fame. One thing is enough to push the pendulum to its extremes. You've added one on top of the other, on top of the other, on top of the other. Your whole life has been giving more and more energy to the madness which is the mind. So what is the true enemy of happiness? What is the true contributor of anxiety? It is unconsciousness. When we don't watch our actions, when we don't watch our thoughts, we will have no control over our states of mind. Control comes from watching. That is what being mindful is. How does mindfulness take away your anxiety? It lets you be in the middle. It lets you look at pain and pleasure with the same sense of dispassion.